Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. We are going to be talking about 5 makeup brands that I would choose if I could only choose 5 makeup brands to purchase from for the rest of my life. And I'm laughing because I just think of like all the crazy things we talk about, of like just situations we create in our heads as YouTubers. I saw this video done by Billie Jean, who I believe goes by, I might be pronouncing this wrong, but Beaut Bean here on YouTube. I will have a picture of her right here. I'm trying to get like better with my editing. And then I'll also have her channel linked up in the cards, her channel link down below, and her video link down below. So if you like this video and want to check her out, definitely go do so. But the whole idea about today's video is if you could only choose 5 makeup brands to purchase from and use for the rest of your life, what would it be? This in my head means that like I would be like having to get rid of all makeup then from any other brand that aren't these 5 brands. I took some time to think about this, and I feel like some of these might be a little bit like surprising to some. So pause the video if you watch me a lot, pause the video and write your guesses for the 5 brands down below. I would love to hear your guys' guesses. But other than that, let's just jump right into it. Oh, first, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, I hope you consider doing so before you go. I post a minimum of 4 times a week, so if that's something that interests you, then don't forget to subscribe before moving on. And other than that, let's just jump into the video. If I could only purchase from one energy drink brand for the rest of my life, I think I might have to go to Celsius or Alani Nu. But have you guys tried these Celsius drinks? They're amazing. Do not recommend the carbonated ones, but the non-carbonated, which normally I would be like skeptical. The non-carbonated, very good. Very much enjoy the peach mango. And then there's a melon guava one that's really good. I might have to stop by Target on the way home today to pick that up. Many of you might be surprised by some of the brands that I am selecting. And as I talk you through the brand and the products that they have that I feel like I can use, just hear me out, because some of these I feel like you're gonna be like, girl, what? Okay, so starting with the brand that I have, like the meat and potatoes of like where the bulk of my makeup comes from, I will save that for the last. But I have a tag still on this. Yep, feeling very trendy in my tie-dye. Take the tag off there. I guess now I've spoiled my secret that I don't wash my clothes before wearing them. Do you guys do that? Who washes their laundry before wearing it? Am I alone in the fact that I don't? I hope you don't think of me differently now. Okay, you guys, so the first brand I have on my list is Dior, strictly pretty much for their foundation. I think the only thing I have from Dior in my collection are these 3 foundations, possibly a lip product, but Dior makes amazing foundation. I am so excited for the Dior Forever, like the new one that they're coming out with in their Forever line. I have the Forever Skin Glow. So this is, hear me out on this. The Skin Glow, if I'm looking for more of a hydrated, dewy look, I've got my Skin Glow foundation. And then if I have like an event, I never have events. But if I have something where I want my makeup to last a little bit longer, I can just go with the original Dior Forever, which is like literally my favorite foundation ever, I think. And then if I want something a little bit lighter coverage, I have the Dior Backstage. This is not a favorite of mine, but if I'm looking for something lighter, more summery, more on like the tinted moisturizer type of vibe, this is more full coverage than a tinted moisturizer. I actually have this on my face today. But I have these 3 foundations. I've also heard really good things about the Dior Backstage Primer. Hint, hint. It really pains me inside, but First Aid Beauty is not on my list. So I would have to give up my Dior, or not my Dior, my First Aid Beauty primers, which truly would just like eat at my heart. But I would need a primer because I love primers, and I've heard really good things about the Dior Backstage Primer. They also have like the highlighting palettes. They have the eyeshadows. Oh, I know. Hello. Dior also makes a beautiful highlight. I have 2 of them. This is one of my favorite pink highlights if I'm looking for like an icier pink. If I'm looking like for like a sunburn pink highlight, then it has to go to Becca Rose Quartz. But this is really beautiful. This is in the old packaging. Very, very beautiful, very luxurious. And then I also have this one, which is a really pretty champagne shade. This is in the shade 1. Very, very pretty. So then I would have these beautiful, luxurious highlights as well. Again, like I said, Dior makes a ton of products. They have tons of lip products. I would have a lot of lip options. They have other foundations that I haven't tried either. So there's a lot of SKUs in their line. But I knew I had to make room for them in my list of 5 because I just love their foundations so, so much. So Dior is my first brand. My second brand is Fenty Beauty, and I've tried a lot from Fenty, and I've had some hits and I've had some misses. I'm not a huge fan of the Fenty eyeshadow formula, although I did just get this in my BoxyCharm, which was supposed to be my March BoxyCharm, but it was the first BoxyCharm I received right after we moved, and I accidentally updated my address to 402 instead of 204. So I didn't get my BoxyCharm until very recently. I actually sent it to the orthodontist office, which is like a couple blocks down. Anyway, so I did, wow, I can't open this. There we go. I just got the Moroccan Spice, which I haven't tried yet, but you guys, there is a shimmery green shade in this palette. You guys know how I feel about my shimmery greens, like hello. But the little like snap palettes from Fenty, wasn't a huge fan of those. However, Fenty makes my favorite highlight formula ever. These are the Kilowatt highlights, obviously. I have Girl Next Door and Chic Freak, which I really like if I'm looking for kind of like that sunburned pink. And then Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal is like my perfect highlighting duo, so I really wanted to make sure that I could, you know, keep this. And then I have 2 of the summer collection ones from a couple years ago that I never reached for, but I have them nevertheless. And so I really wanted to make sure I selected or made room in my list of 5 for Fenty because I love their highlighters and they also make my favorite gloss formula. I would not want to be without the Fenty Gloss Bomb. I just grabbed all my minis. I also have the large size. I think Fenty makes a great gloss. What else? I've heard really good things about Fenty's mascara, so like, you know, it would give me the option for that mascara. I did order the cream blush, but at the time that I'm filming this, I don't have that yet, so I can't review that. I also forgot Fenty also has one of my favorite bronzers. So I also love the Fenty powder bronzer. I have mine in the lightest shade, which is Into Sun. I really am kind of curious about the Fenty cream bronzer formula. I want to try that, but Fenty in general as a brand, I think just does something a little bit different, and I'm just inspired by the branding overall. So it's just a brand I would want to be able to purchase from, you know? So Fenty is the second brand on my list. The third brand on my list is ColourPop. And one of the reasons is because ColourPop is a little bit more affordable. So it would help the wallet situation a little bit. And Fenty just has, or not Fenty, ColourPop just has so many options. They're always releasing new, so I feel like it would, you know, keep things, you know, not creative. It would keep things, you know, spruced up, spiced up. Like I would always have something new to be purchasing. They have lip products, they have eyeshadow, they have, you know, cheek products, base products. They really have it all. For ColourPop, really, I think the biggest pull to me putting them on this list is the eyeshadow options. It would give me a ton of options for different eyeshadow, but then also their lip line. I mean, they just have so many different lip formulas and lip products. So obviously I wanted the Fenty Gloss Bomb, but when I think about like liquid lipsticks or things like that, this is really where I, you know, would have the ability to purchase those different lip options. Now, the Ultra Matte Lip is definitely not a favorite of mine. I do like the ColourPop Ultra Blotted Lip. They also have their lippy sticks, which I've tried. They're okay, but definitely I had to put ColourPop on my list for the reasons I just gave. I don't feel like going to grab a bunch of ColourPop stuff out of my my makeup collection. You get the gist with ColourPop. All right. Brand number 4 I feel like might be the most shocking, and it's in the eyeshadow realm. The reason I'm picking it is specifically for their eyeshadows. I was going between this brand and ABH, and it was really tough because ABH also has like their foundation, which I really like. They have their brow products, which I kind of forgot about. Maybe I should have gone with ABH. I'm gonna stick with my original plan, but it was tough not to put ABH on this list. Just know that. That being said, I am going with Nabla. And the reason I decided to select Nabla as one of my brands is eyeshadow is one thing, or is like the one thing that really makes me feel like creatively inspired when I do my makeup. I love to do my makeup. I love the whole process of everything. But when I think about like being creative, doing my eyeshadow is like the one part within my makeup, putting on my makeup that that makes me feel the most creative. I don't know what I'm trying to say. And makeup in general is the way that I like express myself creatively, because let's be real, I can't draw, paint. I can't do a whole lot of creative things. Although once when I was younger, I made goggles out of a Gatorade bottle because I was at my grandparents and I really wanted to have goggles in their swimming pool, and I didn't have any, so I used the Gatorade bottle and made goggles. So I mean, it's there. Like I've got some really interesting ideas up here. But anyway, so I selected Nabla. I have 3 palettes from Nabla, and I actually am thinking about purchasing some of their single shadows. They have an extensive range of single eyeshadows, and I love the Nabla formula for the most part. I'm not a huge fan of the Poison Garden palette. Some of the mattes in here are just plain duds for me, and as well as some of the shimmers. So this palette, a bit of a dud. But other than that, these 2 palettes really kind of blew me away. The mattes in the Secret palette I felt were really easy to work with, and there's just some very interesting textures. There's some very interesting and unique textures to Nabla's formula, specifically in the Dreamy 2 palette. There is so much dimension, so many different textures and formulas within this palette. You have your mattes, you have your shimmers and foils, but then you also have these like interesting like chunkier shades that end up looking more matte on the eyes. And I just love that you're getting a variety with their shadows. You're not just getting a matte and a foiled, or like a pressed pigment and a foiled or a shimmer shade. I just think that there's something special about the Nabla eyeshadow formula, and that is why I decided to go with this brand. I've also heard really good things about their highlights, or they like their skin glazes or something like that. So Nabla is a brand that I wanted to put on this list so that I could continue to be creative with my eyeshadow in this made up universe where I can only own 5 different makeup brands. Are we even surprised that construction has already commenced outside? It's still very early in the morning in my opinion. It's like only 7 o'clock. All right, you guys, the 5th brand, the 5th and final brand. This is the one where it's like the meat and potatoes of where it has a lot of different products that I'm going to be happy with. And that brand is Hourglass Cosmetics. And it actually wasn't until I started to sit down and make this list that I realized how many products from Hourglass I actually really like, and how many different like categories of the makeup part. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I like them for not just like one specific item. I have quite a few items that I love Hourglass for. And I would definitely, after sitting down and making this list, consider Hourglass to be like one of my top favorite brands. So from Hourglass, I mean, they really pretty much have it all. I haven't been a huge fan of their foundations. That's the one area where I'm like, but they have the Veil Primer, which I really like. And then tons of other products. So they have one of my favorite concealers. Now granted, this is newer to their line, but I have been loving it since the moment I started using it, so it would be good for concealer. They have a beautiful bronzer formula. Now granted, this is a more luminous bronzer formula, but I also have my Fenty matte bronzer in case I wanted a matte bronzer. Hourglass also makes my favorite blush formula. I only have 2. I have Mood Exposure and Euphoric Fusion, but I do own at least 2 more blushes from Hourglass. I just think that they make such a beautiful formula. Now granted, these aren't going to be a matte blush formula, so I really would have to search for my matte blush somewhere else. I don't know. I hope maybe I'm looking over my list. Maybe does Dior have a matte blush formula that I could buy from? But the Hourglass blush formula is beautiful. It gives this beautiful sheen to the cheeks that I just absolutely love. Mood Exposure is probably my favorite shade, and then I also do love Euphoric Fusion. They also have their holiday palettes, which are always really, really nice. Again, blush formula throughout here. This Brilliant Nude I can use as a finishing powder. Hourglass also has nice finishing powders. Not that I always use a finishing powder, but if I wanted that option. They also make my favorite loose setting powder, which is the Hourglass Veil Powder. And then, oh yeah, this is my bronzer. Oh, and then they also have a really nice gloss formula, which I only have this little mini. I don't really talk about their gloss that often because, again, I just have this little mini, but it is a really nice formula. This is in the shade, my camera's gonna die. This one specifically is in the shade Sublime, and I really enjoy this gloss. It's not too sticky. I just like it. And then they also have, I mean, they have like matte lip formulas I have not personally tried. And then they just came out with their Veil setting spray, so I would be good to go if I needed like a setting spray. So overall, I just think all the brands I selected, I obviously really, really enjoy, but I didn't realize how many different products there were within the Hourglass range that I really, really love and enjoy. So I definitely had to put Hourglass on my list. But after that, that is going to be it for me today, talking about 5 makeup brands that I would purchase from if I could only choose 5. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video. I would love to hear what 5 brands you would choose to purchase from if you could only choose 5. Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video, and as always, for supporting my channel, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye!